Looking for an epic charter fishing experience that goes beyond the boat? Want to add in world-class food, festivals, or even football? Come explore everything Louisiana has to offer with a charter fishing trip led by one of Louisiana's top captains. From inshore redfish and speckled trout to offshore tuna and red snapper, from saltwater swordfish to freshwater sac-a-lait. With fishing destinations less than 45 minutes from the airport, Louisiana has something spectacular to offer every fisherman. Go catching with Louisiana's best captains today by planning your next adventure at louisianacharterfishing.com. That's louisianacharterfishing.com.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
Welcome to the Casting Across Fly Fishing Podcast. I'm Matthew of castingacross.com, where I explore the quarry and culture of fly fishing. Episode 368 is being recorded on Thanksgiving Eve. Here's my prediction. Thanksgiving Eve is going to become a formal thing in the next decade. Now, I know there's already the trope of the big Thanksgiving Eve parties because everyone's back at home. They can see their high school friends or whatever and go out and party. But I think it's going to go more mainstream, and it's going to expand into families and all those things. And instead of, as is often the case, when things go from being niche to global, they become less cool. I think Thanksgiving Eve is going to become more cool. I really like how on like Christmas Eve, I oftentimes spend that with friends, and then I spend Christmas with family, and sometimes there's some crossover, of course, but I do like how there's just a little bit of diversity to the celebration, and we should be all about celebration. I'll talk about that at the end of the podcast, probably. But as I've done for the last few years, I'm going to talk about things I'm thankful for. Now, why would you be interested in what I am thankful for? One, well, you're listening to me, so there's that. And secondly, there's a very good chance that you're thankful for similar things that I am thankful for. And so hopefully these will resonate with you and maybe spark your mind and your hearts to be thankful in a particular direction or with a particular object. So the first thing I want to mention is actually something I'm looking at. Now, I can't see it because it's pitch black outside. It's be recording around 7 o'clock, and it's pretty dark up here in the northern part of the United States of America. But I do know that about 150 yards due north from where I sit in my office, there is a tree stand in a little glade in the woods behind my house. I'm thankful for this. Now, I'm thankful that I got the tree stand at a great deal. I mean, it was a steal, and I'm thankful for it. But more importantly, I am thankful for the hour and a half kind of peace that I have when I go and sit out there. For those of you who hunt, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you who hunt and fish, you know that there is a big difference between the peacefulness of standing in a stream and casting and the peacefulness from sitting in a tree stand. And when I was younger, the idea of deer hunting from a tree stand sounded like torture. I hated the idea of sitting still. Now, I absolutely love it. It is phenomenal. And so I'm thankful that it's there. I'm thankful I can walk to it. That's huge. That's a real blessing that my family and I can walk out into these woods. And this time of year, I can go out and sit in a tree stand. Other times of the year, we can walk around and hike, and we can just enjoy nature and things like that. The boys can go out with their 22s, their pellet rifles, and chase after squirrels and rabbits and stuff like that. But right now, it's great that I don't have to get up and drive, that I can, wrap up work, throw on a blaze orange hat, grab the rifle or the bow, and just walk out there and call it, an hour. I mean, shooting deer is a whole other story, but I'm happy to just sit out there and enjoy that. So that's a real blessing, something that I never thought I would really put such a premium on. But in hindsight, this has been such a blessing to be able to have this, and so I'm very thankful for that. I am thankful for casting across. And let me talk about a few reasons why that is. Now, there's a little bit of overlap when I'm talking about now, when I talked about just a handful of weeks ago when casting across celebrated its 10-year anniversary, and we're still celebrating that in some way, shape, or form, I suppose. But I am thankful for so many of the opportunities that have been afforded to me. Even just in the last week, I have had a couple conversations. One was a Zoom interview for something that's going to be put out here in the next month. Another couple of conversations with some folks in fly fishing companies, fly fishing events, just talking to them about things that I can do with them. And they were instigated by them, which is really kind of cool. Only because, I've been doing this for a while. It's not my main thing, but I appreciate that others appreciate my voice, the perspective that I bring, and the spin that I have on fly fishing. And again, not to toot my horn or anything, but one of the things that I'm often complimented on is the positive perspective that I bring to fly fishing. Even tonight, I was on Instagram scrolling around as I was waiting for something to come out of the oven, and there's just a lot of negativity. Now, to be fair, there's some things that are kind of worth being negative about. I mean, just things that are happening to different rivers and things that are happening from a political standpoint, from legislative standpoint. But there's some people who are just primed and ready for that negative comment, that negative perspective, and hopefully you don't feel that way about casting across. I mean, I'll call something out when I see it, but generally speaking, and I said this to somebody recently, if somebody sends me a product, somebody sends me a book, somebody asks for my opinion, I will give it to them straight up. But unless I think there's some sort of deception or somebody is trying to con the general public, I don't talk about things that I don't like. I don't talk about things that are not uplifting. And I will certainly give that feedback to the person who sent me the thing, but it's not the kind of thing that I'm going to blast all over the internet. And so I do think that is one of the unique aspects of casting across in the fly fishing space. But all that to say, I'm thankful for those opportunities, those folks that have reached out, those folks that have worked with me in one way, shape, or form, whether they've instigated or I've instigated over these last 10 years. Some great relationships that I've been able to forge within fly fishing, and a significant aspect or part of that is you, the listener. There's some folks that are regular contributors to the Fly Fishing Accusations, which actually is coming up only in a few weeks. So, hey, if you have a question about casting across, about fly fishing, about whatever, send it my way, Matthew@castingacross.com. You can always also use the contact form on the website. But I appreciate being able to engage with and interact with people, folks that have asked questions about fly fishing or faith, folks who have said that, that they share a very similar perspective. I love that. That makes my day. There's a small little chunk of ad revenue that comes in through the podcast, but what's actually much more rewarding than a few bucks here and there is having someone write in and or leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, and having them comment on why they've found a place where we have an overlapping part of our Venn diagram. So that's one of the things I enjoy about casting across. Is also, and again, I talked about this a few weeks ago, but there's the consistency. I like how this has really, I think, helped me with discipline in a lot of ways. I have a relatively dynamic week, but I'm always at my keyboard over the weekend and on Monday morning. I'm always in front of the camera now on Tuesdays for my Wednesday videos, and I'm always behind the microphone, usually on Wednesday or Thursday, in anticipation of the podcast. And I was just thinking about how this microphone I speak into, it goes with me wherever I go if I'm traveling. I bring my little iPhone stand with me wherever I go. This laptop goes with me wherever I go, and it's just there's times where it does have a burdensome quality to it, but it's not a bad kind. So maybe that has a negative connotation. But so all that to say, thankful for casting across. Thankful for you, the listener, the reader. Really, really appreciate it. I am also thankful for trash fish. I was thinking about this today while I was actually out in the tree stand, thinking about what are some things I want to talk about. Like I can talk about my family, talk about fly fishing, and talking about my church and things like that, and that's true, and those things are all true, and I'll allude to them later. But trying to keep it kind of original, thinking back to things I may have talked about in the last few years. But I'm thankful for trash fish and how much joy they bring me, and how much joy they bring my children. I was thinking about this year, like how many trout did I catch this year? And I would say this is a relatively low trout fishing year, but that's not because I didn't go fishing. I was just content to fish for other stuff. And again, there's lots of trout, and I'm not saying that I'm leaving trout behind for fall fish or panfish or anything like that. But I'm really thankful for the fact that I can drive a very short amount of time and I can catch a mixed bag of different warm water fish with the potential of a stock trout. And how surprising and interesting that is. I mean, there was a time and a day where I would go fishing in a stream, and if I caught a rainbow trout, I would almost be upset because I was looking for those wild brookies or or the native brookies or the wild browns. However, I'm in a place now where both because of the situation that the rivers around me in southern New Hampshire find themselves in, and because of the fact that I really do treasure those little excursions and the aspects of adventure and exploration that they entail, that I am totally content with whatever bites the end of my fly line, um, because the surprise is really a big part of it these days. And along those same lines, like I love pickerel. People up here who are like bass anglers, for example, they hate pickerel. As a fly angler, I absolutely love the things. Big violent strikes, and you can't tell me that if you catch an 18-inch pickerel, you're going to be bummed out, but if you catch a 18-inch northern pike, that you're going to be excited. Like it that makes absolutely no sense to me. Said it before and I said it again. I would catch a 12-inch fall fish long before I caught a 12-inch rainbow trout. That would, in any of these streams. And I've caught bigger fall fish than that, and they fight exponentially harder than stocked trout do. I'd rather catch a 14-inch fall fish than a 14-inch stocked brook trout. And so those are the kind of opportunities that I have around here. And so I understand that part of it is kind of like a Stockholm syndrome. I'm confident of that. That if I still lived, like say in South Central Pennsylvania, or I lived, up further north in New Hampshire, or I even lived just some of the places I've lived before, where I would say, no, I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to chase after these wild trout, but I'm chasing after wild fish. And at the end of the day, a lot of what I preach and what I practice is the enjoyment of and the pursuit of wild fish, irrespective of their species. So I'm thankful that they are around, and I'm thankful that it's a lot of fun to access them. One of the things that I really enjoyed about that is just how swampy New England is. When I first moved to New England, I remember fishing in a trout stream in Massachusetts, in the North Shore of Mass, and just thinking I feel like I'm fishing in a swamp. There's just so much marshy ground. I need waders to not even just get in the water, but get anywhere near the water. I was afraid I was going to sink up to my chin in muck and stuff like that. And now, as I figured out these watersheds a little bit more, I really enjoy them because they do hold trout, and some really cool trout populations, but they also hold all manner of interesting other wild and native fish. And it's this great exploration of getting out of the main channels, especially when the water's high and it's, early spring or late fall. You get into some places that are really skinny, or they're just like surprise little pockets of water, and the fishing is really interesting. And it's a lot of times there's very few people fishing the main channels, let alone these little side pools and things like that. And so I've really come to be thankful that that's the kind of fishing that I have. I know for a long time I was bummed out that I wasn't fishing on Pennsylvania limestone streams. And I certainly enjoy those streams, and I love going back to them. But I'm happy with what I have here. Other things that I am thankful for. I'm thankful for an opportunity to read. Like I mentioned before, there's a interview that'll be coming out very soon about my reading habits and my fly fishing book collection. And I'll definitely be sure to make everyone aware of when that comes out and where to find it. But I just am thankful that I have been given a family that is a reading family, and I've been given opportunities to read. I mean, there's not much more I can say about it than that, but I really do appreciate it, and hopefully some of that joy is passed on through the book reviews and the other things that I introduce folks to with Casting Across. I am thankful for my children. All right, this is not to say I'm not thankful for my wife or my parents or anything like that, but I'm thankful for my children. Specifically, that God has given, baked into children a certain flexibility or elasticity. I have not been the perfect fly fishing father, and here's what I mean by that. It's hard. It's hard to fly fish with kids. It's hard to fish with kids. But despite all of my shortcomings, despite of my maybe selfishness, you can say, and wanting to get out the water on my own, my kids all want to get out. Today, and this is not fly fishing, but this is certainly outdoors and fly fishing adjacent. Today, my two kind of middle kids, the 9-year-old and the soon-to-be 7-year-old, were out playing hunting. So they were decked out in camo, and they came in proudly announcing that they had killed 8 squirrels, 4 boar, and a deer. Now, if any wardens in southern New Hampshire are listening, this was all in their heads. However, it's just a great reminder that even though I probably didn't take them fishing as much as I should this season, even though I have really only gone hunting with my oldest son this year, that the things that I appreciate and the things that I talk about enjoying, they are going to be drawn to because they've been given to me as kids. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for that. I guess I will circle back around to say I'm thankful for my wife, that she has been, part of Casting Across for 10 years. And she encourages me to go sit in that tree stand. She encourages me to find days to get out and fish, knowing it's good for my heart, good for my mind, good for my ministry, good for my being a spouse and being a father. So I'm very, very much appreciative of her. And then, other family are huge fans of the work. Whether they understand what I'm talking about or not, people like my mom always like and share my stuff. And, that's great. So I'm going to kind of bring it to a close right there as far as the things I'm thankful for. I just want to also give you this encouragement. Hopefully this doesn't feel particularly preachy, but here we are on the podcast, and so I will share this. But I'm of a strong conviction that at the end of the day, Thanksgiving is a distinctly and uniquely Christian biblical concept. This is not to say that if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in Jesus, that you can't be thankful. You can, and you are, and that's awesome. And I think that you do that because you were created to be thankful for things that were given to you. But I do believe, and the Bible bears this out, that everything was created by God, and also that all good gifts, everything that you could be thankful for, come from Him. And so thankfulness finds its ultimate home in being thankful to the one who everything comes from. And so that's just my encouragement to you this holiday season. If you do believe, then hopefully that's an encouragement for you to remember, you're thankful for your family. Guess who gave you your family? You're thankful for fishing. Guess who created the mountains and the rivers and the fish themselves? And if you don't, and this is something that you're curious about, how can I make such a statement? Let me know. Matthew@castingacross.com. I think hopefully one of the things, if you've been listening for long enough, if when I do insert these things, these more important things in fly fishing, I always qualify it with, if you have any questions, comments, or accusations about what I've said as it relates to fly fishing or anything else, more important things, definitely let me know. Matthew@castingacross.com. With that, I got my couple segments I'll wrap up here within a minute, but happy Thanksgiving. If you're listening to this at 10 p.m. when it comes out on a Thanksgiving night, then I hope that I'm one of the last things that you do before you drift off into a lovely turkey-induced night of sleep. But again, if it's Black Friday, then hopefully I do not add to the noise of what you got going on. But truly, a happy Thanksgiving to you. This week on Casting Across, Monday's article is called Salmon Kingdom. And this is a modern-day parable. Well, it's a parable that was composed by someone much, much wiser than me. I simply put a fishing veneer on it and passed it off as my own. So you can read that in Salmon Kingdom. It takes place in lovely Great Lake tributaries. Wednesday's article is called Video, Thousands of Words Worth of Fishing Photos. So I mentioned this book, I think last week on the podcast, as my recommendation, because this is a great gift for somebody who is a fly angler who, whether they're a big reader or not, and that is the book Trout. There's a number of books named Trout, but this one is Trout by Brian Grossenbacher. He contributed the photos, which is, I would say, 90% of the book. And we all know Mr. Tom Rosenbauer. He contributed the little essays that introduced each section of this book. And the book is divided, it's a photo book, is divided into kind of sections that talk about and illustrate different parts of fly fishing. And that's one of the reasons why I like this. This is not a book of 200 pages of pictures of trout or 200 pages of rivers. This is anything and everything from trout and rivers to fly boxes and reels and anglers and people in the back of trucks. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful mix of things. You may have heard me complain before about the Trout Unlimited catalog having this kind of pictures. That's because it's only 12 pictures. When you got 200, I want to see that diversity. And hey, I didn't say this. Oh, here's an extra thankfulness. I'm thankful that the 2026 Trout Unlimited calendar seems like a return to form for the photographs that were selected by TU. I'll probably talk about that in some other context. But anyway, back to the book. Awesome book, big book, $50, but it's fantastic photography. One of the things I mentioned in the video is that we're so overwhelmed with images because of Instagram and other stuff like that I think we have forgotten or maybe even lost an eye for the difference between a good picture and a great picture. And Brian Grossenbacher's pictures are great. And so definitely check out Trout by Grossenbacher and Rosenbauer. And you can pick that up for yourself or throw it on your wish list or buy it for an angler that you think may appreciate it this holiday season. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Casting Across. You may say, hey, where about the recommendation? What about the recommendation? Well, here's my recommendation for this week. It is to think about the things that you are thankful for and think about why. Go a little bit deeper. You are a fly fisher, which means that you are intrinsically contemplative. And here's what I would suggest you do. And if you do it, awesome. You get bonus points. If you don't do it, I won't know. But tell the person who's responsible for it, thank you. Tell the person who's responsible for it, thank you. If there's something you appreciate about a family member or about a friend, then tell them that and make it explicit. And as I alluded to before, I think all those things ultimately find their end, their tether in the Creator, who is God. But at the same time, a good first step and a good first start is to tell that person thank you. That's my recommendation. We'll talk about products. I talked about products last week. There's lots of times to talk about things and stuff as we get into the shopping season. But once again, happy Thanksgiving from Casting Across. Thanks for listening to the Casting Across Fly Fishing Podcast. Please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. Rate the podcast over in Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Then head over to castingacross.com for 3 posts a week on the people, places, and things that go into the pursuit of fish.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
From dawn to dusk and every moment in between, Captain Justin Leake and Meredith McCord have an exciting adventure waiting in the water. Catch Chasing the Sun, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Waypoint TV. Waypoint TV, your destination for outdoor entertainment.